Hey everyone, Kat here. Hope you're having a lovely day. And so, well, I always like to dress for the occasion. And I know Elaine gets a crack out of my shirts, so I haven't been feeling particularly attractive, so we're not going to do the sexy shirts, but I believe in giving folks a chance to, either come running to join in or go running away. So today's shirt is I'm immature, unorganized, lazy, and loud, but I'm fun. And hopefully y'all agree with that and have some fun here. Because it's Monday, so y'all know what that means. Grim Tales. Normally, I would read these on the couch so little man can come hang out with me. Because I know half of y'all are here for the puppies, and I don't blame you. I'd be here for the puppies too. But it's holiday weekend, so the other one is here, so I'm in my new library. Except for my chair's misbehaving, so I can't really swivel. It the little rocker's out and it won't go back in. So they misassembled the bottom when they sent it. But that's okay. It's still comfy. I know it looks like a children's chair because I am so much taller than it, but that is okay. So, y'all are just going to have to suffer through with no little man. And we're going to get into a story that, once again, I have never heard of. And Elaine, I'm going to tag you down below in case any of these wonderful folks haven't, seen you yet. So y'all can go check out her channel. She's got all the kitties and the yard stuff and some really good bookish content too, obviously. So today's story will be King Thrushbeard. Hmm, I could already have some fun with that name, but let's see who's going to be the grim reason for it. A king had a daughter whose beauty was beyond comparison. Isn't that what they all think? But she was so proud and haughty that no suitor was good enough for her. Indeed, she rejected one after the other and ridiculed them as well. Once her father held a great feast and invited all the marriageable young men from far and wide to attend. They were all lined up according to their rank and class. First came the kings, then the dukes, princes, counts, and barons, and finally the gentry. Wait, dukes are above princes? Well, that's a new one, but okay. The king's daughter was conducted down the line, and she found fault with each one of the suitors there. One was too fat for her. That wine barrel, she said. Another was too tall. Tall and thin. He looks like a pin. Well, at least she can make a rhyme. The third was too short. Short and fat. He's built like a vat. Hey, what's she got against short folks? We are fun-sized, thank you very much. The fourth was too pale. Well, it's a good thing I'm not into chicks, because I don't think me and her would be getting along. He resembles death, and we can be. The fifth was too red. What a rooster! Well, don't make him angry. The sixth did not stand straight enough for her. Green wood dried behind the stove. Okay, I don't know what the heck that means. There was not a single man whom she did not criticize, but she made the most fun of a good king who stood at the head of the line and had a chin that was a bit crooked. My goodness, she exclaimed and laughed. He's got a chin like a thrush's beak. From then on, everyone called him Thrushbeard. When her father saw that she did nothing but ridicule people, and that she scorned all the suitors who were gathered there, he was furious and swore that she would have to marry the first beggar who came to his door. Well, we know what she's going to say about that one. A few days later, a minstrel came and began singing beneath the windows to earn some money. When the king heard him, he said, "Have him come up here." The minstrel, who was dressed in dirty, tattered clothes, entered the hall and sang in front of the king and his daughter. When he was finished, he asked for a modest reward. "Your singing has pleased me so much," the king said, "that I shall give you my daughter for your wife." So I'm guessing he was a terrible singer, and she deserves what she's getting. So he might sing like me. The king's daughter was horrified, but the king said, "I swore I'd give you the very first beggar who came along, and I intend to keep my word." All her objections were to no avail. The minister was fetched, and she was compelled to wed the minstrel. I mean, that is messed up, but it's royalty. At least he's not, her brother or first cousin. And it's not like they're not cheating and offing each other all the time anyway. You ain't gonna be happily married, you just gotta be married. Faithfulness? Psh, what's that? When that was done, the king said, "It's not fitting for you to stay in my palace any longer since you're now a beggar woman. I want you to depart with your husband." Dang, he really did get ticked off. So let him move in, gonna kick her out. She'll learn real quick. The beggar took her by the hand, and she had to go with him on foot. When they came to a huge forest, she asked, "Tell me, who might the owner of this forest be?" "King Thrushbeard owns the forest and all you can see. If you had taken him, it would belong to you." "Alas, poor me! What can I do? I should have wed King Thrushbeard, if only I knew." Soon they crossed a meadow, and she asked again, "Tell me, of this who might the owner of this meadow be?" "King Thrushbeard owns the meadow and all you see. If you had taken him, it would belong to you." "Alas, poor me! What can I do? I should have wed King Thrushbeard, if only I knew." And then they came to a large city, and she asked once more, "Tell me, who might the owner of this city be?" "King Thrushbeard owns the city and all you can see. If you had taken him, it would belong to you." "Alas, poor me! What can I do? I should have wed King Thrushbeard, if only I knew." "I'm not at all pleased by this," said the minstrel. "Why are you always wishing for another husband? Do you think I'm not good enough for you?" Finally, they came to a tiny cottage, and she said, "Oh Lord, what a wretched tiny house! It's not even fit for a mouse." The minstrel answered, "This house is mine and yours, and we shall live here together." She had to stoop to get through the low doorway. Sucks to be tall now, doesn't it? "Where are the servants?" the king's daughter asked. "What servants?" answered the beggar. "You must do everything yourself if you want something done. Now make a fire at once and put the water on so you can cook me my meal. I'm very tired." I would be too after putting up with her. However, the king's daughter knew nothing about making a fire or cooking, and the beggar had to lend a hand himself if he wanted anything done in a tolerable fashion. After they had eaten their meager meal, they went to bed, but the next morning he got up very early because she had to take care of the house. For a few days they lived like this and managed as best they could. When they when they had consumed all their provisions, the man said, "Wife, we can't go on this way any longer. We've used everything up, and we're not earning a thing. You've got to weave baskets." He went out to cut some willows and brought them home, but the rough willows bruised her tender hands. "I see that won't work," said the man. "Let's try spinning. Perhaps you'll be better at that." She sat down at the spinning wheel and tried to spin, but the hard thread soon caught her soft fingers, and blood began to flow. "It's just a little like extra color. Doesn't everybody like red?" "See now," said the man, "you're not fit for any kind of work. I made a bad bargain when I got you." Bet she's never heard that before. "But let's see how things go if I start a business with pots and earthenware. You're to sit in the marketplace and sell the wares." "Oh," she thought, "if some people from my father's kingdom come to the marketplace and see me selling wares, they'll surely make fun of me." And you would deserve it. But there was no way to avoid it. She had to obey her husband if she did not want to die of hunger. The first time everything went well, people gladly bought her wares because she was beautiful, and they paid what she asked. Indeed, many gave her money and did not even bother to take the pots with them. So the couple lived off their earnings as long as they lasted. Then her husband bought a lot of new earthenware. His wife sat down with it at a corner in the marketplace, set her wares around her, and offered them for sale. Suddenly, a drunken hussar came galloping along and rode right over the pots so that they all smashed to pieces. That drunk hussar. I don't know what it is, but I like that term. She began to weep and was paralyzed with fear. "Oh, what's going to happen to me?" she exclaimed. "What will my husband say?" She ran home and told him about the accident, and he responded by saying, "In heaven's name, who would ever sit down at a market corner in the marketplace with earthenware? Now stop your weeping. I see full well that you're not fit for proper work. I've already been to the king's castle and have asked whether they could use a kitchen maid, and they've promised me to take you on. In return, you'll get free meals." Now the king's daughter became a kitchen maid and had to assist the cook and do the lowest kind of work. She sewed two little jars inside her pockets and carried home the leftovers so that they could have some food to live on. One day it happened that the king's oldest son was celebrating his wedding, and the poor woman went upstairs, stood outside the door outside the door of the large hall and wanted to look inside. When the candles were lit, each guest entered, one more exquisitely dressed than the next, and everything was full of splendor. With a sad heart, she thought about her fate and cursed her pride and arrogance for bringing about her humiliation and great poverty. Sometimes the servants threw her pieces of the delicious dishes they were carrying in and out of the hall, and she could also smell the aroma of the food. She put the pieces into her pockets and intended to carry them home. Suddenly, the king's son entered. He was dressed in velvet and silk and had a golden chain around his neck. And when he saw the beautiful woman standing in the doorway, he grabbed her by the hand and wanted to dance with her, but she refused. Indeed, she was horrified because she saw it was King Thrushbeard, who had courted her and whom she had rejected with scorn. Although she struggled, it was to no avail, for he pulled her into the hall. Then the string that held her pockets together broke, and the jars fell out, causing the soup to spill and the scraps of food to scatter on the floor. When the people saw that, they laughed a good deal and poked fun at her. She was so ashamed that she wished she was 1,000 fathoms under the earth. She ran out the door and tried to escape, but a man caught up with her on the stairs and brought her back. When she looked at him, she saw it was King Thrushbeard again, and he said to her in a friendly way, "Don't be afraid. I and the minstrel who live with you in the wretched cottage are one and the same person. I disguised myself out of love for you, and I was also the hussar who rode over your pots and smashed them to pieces. I did all that to humble your proud spirit and to punish you for the insolent way you behaved towards me." I think he's doing what a lot of guys do and confuse love with lust. It's like, I made you poor and abused you because I'm in love with you because you treated me like crap. I mean, I get having no self esteem and going for the abusive ones, but he's a king. I don't think he suffers from that. Then she shed bitter tears and said, "I've done a great wrong and don't deserve to be your wife." That is true, though her punishment might have been a tad extreme. However, he said, "Console yourself. The bad days are over. Now we shall celebrate our wedding." The chambermaids came and dressed her in splendid clothes, and her father came along with his entire court, and they wished her happiness in her marriage with King Thrushbeard. Then the real rejoicing began, and I wish that you and I had been there too. Well, that wasn't very grim, but at least the spoiled brat learned a lesson. Oh, and the next story is one that we've already read. So, a nice, very long Snow White. So now I have to come up, figure out which one's going to be next week. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed that, and I will see you soon. Bye. Happy reading.